Hey everyone, what's up? It's Chapman here, and on this tutorial, we are going to be building another raid farm. This one is capable of doing 60 to 90,000 items per hour. Okay, it is good for those of you who maybe don't have the greatest PCs in the world, or maybe you just find the 250,000 items per hour stacking raid farm a little too much. I don't know. But these are the items that you're going to need right here for the entire farm. This cobblestone right here, this can be anything because all of this is just to build a water tower. So the red that you see here, this is going to be for redstone. Okay, so this is going to mark out all of our redstone that we need. You also want to bring along 5 villagers with you. We only need 5 villagers for this farm, so bring them along before you begin. Okay. Now, before we begin, the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find yourself a chunk. So press F3 and G and turn on your chunk borders. That is 60 blocks away from everything over top of the ocean, and build yourself a platform out of glass or bottom half slabs that is 3 blocks above the water, with a small platform that is on the southeast side that is approximately 8 by 6 blocks. Build yourself this right here.
Okay.
Now, turning on your F3 menu, we are going to be paying attention to these numbers right here. I'm going to be referring them to as the block box numbers, and I'm also going to put them center on screen here for you, so that way it's nice and easy for you guys to pay attention and follow along. Okay, you can ignore the sub chunk number. I'll just blur them out. And now, grabbing everything that you see here, we are going to be coming to the smaller platform that we built on the second chunk here, and we are going to look for block 1, 2, 14. And we're going to place down a temporary block with 4 solid blocks on each side of it. And now from here, this is where we are going to continue to build this up till we are on Y84. And this is where we are going to start villager pod number 1. So facing towards the inside here, what we are going to do is we are going to place down an observer facing in. Okay, so that's the north side. With another observer facing down. And then we are going to place a glass block beside this observer. Remove our temporary blocks, place redstone dust on this glass block with 2 sticky pistons facing towards the inside of the farm, so that's going to be the inside, with a composter on one and a temporary block and a composter on the other one. Next, we are going to cover both of these composters with some stairs, and then turning around, we are going to continue to build our chute all the way up here, so that way we can place some glass on top of these stairs. And then we are going to take our slime block here and we are going to place it above that redstone dust. Now, this is temporary. We are going to be removing that, but this just makes it easier for us to drop the villager down. And now from here, what we are going to do is we are going to continue to build this up until Y94. And this is going to be for an activator switch. Now, once there, what you're going to do is you're going to build to the front here, 3 blocks in total, and place an observer facing in with its butt going towards the front here, with a solid block behind it, a 1 block gap, and then another solid block on top of it. Next, what you're going to do is you're going to cover both this solid block and the other one with a piece of glass, and then we're just going to leave this like this for now, because when we build the rest of the farm, what we're going to do is we're going to put the timer in here with the redstone dust, and yeah, we'll just come back to this. Now, build the rest of this up so that way you are level with the glass. And then for villager 2, we are going to build up to Y126. And once you're up to Y126, this is where villager 2's pod is going to start. And on the opposite corner of that villager right there, place an observer facing in with another one facing into that observer. 1 more facing down with a solid block on top of it. Next, place 2 sticky pistons on the outside of this solid block away from the tube, with a composter on one and then a temporary block and a composter on the other one. Place your stairs on top of both of those composters and then a honey block above this solid block. This is going to stay here. This is going to be permanent. This is where we're going to drop the villager down on top of. Next, just place a piece of glass above that stair and there we go, that stair. And then continue building this tube, removing all of your temporary blocks. And continue building this tube all the way up to Y157 for villager number 3. Okay, and once you're up to Y157, on the opposite corner of these 2 villagers right here, so this corner, repeat that same build that we just built down there, but with 1 extra observer. So build out 2 blocks like so, place an observer going in with another observer facing into that one, and then this time, 2 observers, remove our temporary blocks, solid block on top of this one with 2 sticky pistons on the outside away from the tunnel, composter on one with a temporary block and then a composter on the other, stairs above both composters with glass above both of the stairs, and then finish this off with a honey block and then continue building up to Y184 for villager pod number 4. Okay, once you're up to Y184, this is where we're going to build villager pod number 4. Again, same build as all of the other ones below us here, just on the opposite corner of all of them. We are just going to build out 2 blocks, place an observer going in with another one facing that one, and then 3 observers facing down this time with a solid block on top, 2 sticky pistons towards the outside of the tube, a composter on one with a temporary block, and then a composter on the opposite one. Place your stairs above each composter with your glass above each of the stair. And then finish this off with your honey block. And once done, we are just going to simply drop down and continue building our tube all the way up to 217. Make sure you remove any of these temporary blocks that you built on the outside. Okay, once you're up to Y217, this is where we are going to build a small platform in order for us to drop all of our villagers down and in place. But in order to do this, we are going to place down a solid block in each one of these corners. And then we are going to place a glass block on the outside of each one of these solid blocks. And then centered above all of this, we are going to build ourselves a 7x7 platform. Leaving us now on Y218, we are going to punch a hole out here in the center for us to place our water and allow it to flow down. And then for our final villager, we need to come to the west side here and we need to find block 1415. And then we are going to build out 1, place a composter down, and this is where our final villager is going to go. 12, 9, 15 inside this composter. And then as for the other villagers, they are just going to drop right down here in each one of these little holes. And now, with that all done, ignore the coordinates that you see in the next couple of clips, okay? I screwed this up and I had to come back up here and rebuild this after I put all the villagers in place, but that is where this is where we need to be. Now go get your villagers. Psych. Okay, now down here at the bottom, we are going to grab our kelp and we are going to crack open the bottom of this right here. And we are going to place our soul sand right at the bottom. And then we are going to take our kelp and we are going to build a kelp elevator all the way up to the top. Do this fast too, so that way you don't die. Okay, and with your kelp elevator done, now it is time for us to simply jump back down one more time. And now it's time for us to start shuffling our villagers in place. Now, the easiest way to do this is to actually put down some gates here. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to start grabbing these villagers one by one. Okay, here goes villager 1. And when he gets up here, he is going to link to the composter that is here. And just like that, we already have the first one down and in. It is literally that easy. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to block him off. And now it's time for the other 4. And he's in. He is in. He is in. And now it's time for the last guy. This is the slime guy. Okay, and here he goes. And now, with all villagers in place, you can place a lightning rod up here if you want to. But with that all done, that is the hardest and the most difficult and time-consuming part of the build done. But now it's time for us to work on the killing chamber. And to start this, we are just going to come to the main chunk right here, and we're going to look for block 9, which is right here. And we're just going to place down a piece of soul sand with a temporary block behind us towards the thing, and then a dispenser with a solid block on top. Now what we're going to do is we're going to fill this dispenser with an armor stand. We're going to put a button on this dispenser, and then we are going to fire it. Next, beside this piece of soul sand, we are just going to dig out one single block, and then we want to build up below us so that way we just have a single block drop like this. And this is going to be where we place down an armor stand with another dispenser facing inwards with a button on the armor stand, an observer above the dispenser facing in with a piece of string in front of it. Now that right there, that is everything that we need in order to run the farm. The dispensers are simply here just for you to have kind of like a reload of armor stands just in case some of them break for whatever reason. But now what we need is we are going to need a water stream above us in order to collect all of the items and catch all of the mobs when they do come down. And in order to build that, we're just going to grab all of our trapdoors here, our iron trapdoors, and we're just going to run a row of them off of this solid block here. We might have to remove that armor stand. And then beside this dispenser here, we're just going to build up 4 blocks in total. And then we're going to turn these iron trap doors into a little water stream. And what we actually want is we want the water to actually stop right here at the end of this solid block. So I'm going to collect that and then move the water source 1 block forward. And that right there is perfect. Next, coming around to the backside here, I'm going to place down 3 temporary blocks with another one towards the backside and then 3 honey blocks above it. On either side of these temporary blocks, I'm going to build up 3 glass blocks in total. That is going to allow all of the items to flow into those honey blocks and then drop down. Next, coming in line with the soul sand and the first trap door, above this observer, we are going to place down 3 solid blocks centered on the soul sand and the trap door. And on top of those glass blocks, we're going to place 3 sticky pistons facing in with 3 glass blocks attached to them. This is going to be our 3 wide mob drop where our mobs are going to drop down onto and they're going to land on top of these glass blocks. So for this mob drop, again, we're going to come centered here with the soul sand. And what we're going to do is we are going to build ourselves a 3 high chute all the way up to Y92. And once you are up to Y92, next what you're going to do is you're going to take some glass and you are going to build out 1 solid block like so. Then you're going to place down some sticky pistons facing in with stairs upside down on those sticky pistons. Next from here, we're just going to take some solid blocks and we're going to run them above these sticky pistons and then out 2 more blocks towards the tunnel here. And then this is where we are going to place down a redstone torch with 2 solid blocks coming up to the redstone torch. We are then going to cover all of this with some redstone dust and then finish this off with a repeater on its last tick. With that done, coming back here, we're going to build up another 3 blocks in total, so 2 blocks above the sticky pistons. And above these 2 outside corners, we are going to place down 2 glass blocks with another one in the inside, then place 2 stairs outside that center block facing inwards with a solid block on the outside of both of these stairs, a cauldron opposite both of these stairs, and then run the rest of your glass blocks up so that it is level and even with everything. And then with that done, we can fill both of these stairs with some water, both of these cauldrons with some lava, and then leaving a 1 block gap like this. We are going to run a ring of solid blocks above this entire area here and cover it in glass. And now with that done, before we drop down and do any more of our redstone, we just want to make sure that we replace these outside glass blocks here with some composters. And all of that right there is going to be enough to contain all of the ravagers that spawn inside this farm. And then before we drop down, let's just jump in here and make sure that we remove this slime block right here. So that way our first villager can link up to whatever composter is there. And now we can jump down and start to work on our redstone. So back down here at the bottom, coming behind this observer right here, we're going to place down 3 solid blocks with 2 repeaters coming out and then a single piece of redstone dust at the end. For the first repeater here, we're just going to touch this one once, and for the second one, we're going to touch it twice. If you touch these anymore, vexes are going to spawn and then you are going to die. That's my only warning. Next, coming back to the water stream here, we're going to place down a piece of soul sand on the inside like that with a magma block to the right side of it with a sticky piston facing in and then another sticky piston facing in opposite. And with that done, we're going to remove this cobblestone block. And then from this piece of redstone dust right here, we're going to place down a repeater with a sticky piston facing up and then a solid block on top of it. Cover this with a piece of glass. Another repeater coming out from there with a sticky piston facing towards the left, and then an observer with its butt facing towards the water tunnel here. From here, we're going to place down a piece of redstone dust with a repeater beside it facing towards that sticky piston. 2 redstone dust running into that sticky piston. 5 redstone dust running into that one. Make sure you cover all of these solid blocks here with some glass so that way nothing can spawn on it. But with that all done, that is what your redstone should look like right there. Now, to activate these pistons, all we need to do is place down 2 glass blocks with an observer facing into that observer, a repeater coming out set to the 4th tick or the last tick, another glass block with some redstone dust, and then from here, we are just going to simply place down a solid block with a redstone torch on top of it, another solid block above the redstone torch, and then we just need to run some solid blocks above these sticky pistons down, and then cover all of these blocks right here with your redstone dust. And now, with all of that in place right there, your farm is technically complete. It just needs its storage. And to start this, we are just going to come to the backside here, and we are going to leave a 1 block gap underneath this honey, and we are going to place down a piece of ice with some soul sand behind it. With that done, we are going to take our glass and we are going to run a row out so that way it is level or even with the soul sand there. And then in order to have all of our items properly aligned for most storage systems, what we are going to do here is behind the soul sand, we are actually just going to stack up some chests. You can use honey blocks too if you would like to. And then from here, we just need to place a top half slab above that ice right there. And then we need to build our glass blocks up so that they are even with our top chest here. And then from right here, this is where we are going to run all of our ice with glass on the front side, glass on the top side. And then to keep everything aligned without interference, we need to run glass panes on the back side. Now, with all of that done right there, that is going to allow you to place all of your hoppers underneath these glass panes. And this is going to be the start of where all of your storage system is going to go. The only thing left to do now is to just take your water sources and place one right here underneath this dispenser. That is going to push all of the items forward into the soul sand. And then we just need to fill every single slot here above the soul sand with some water. And that is going to allow all of our items to flow up, over, and stay properly aligned so they can get picked up by all of the hoppers in the back. Now, it's completely up to you, whatever storage system you want to put in here. I suggest doing at least 8 to 10 double speed item sorters, okay? Possibly even one of those 6-speed shulker loaders in order to catch all the emeralds. But now, with that all done, in order to activate the farm, the only thing we need now is our raid sword. You want sharpness 5, sweeping edge, looting 3, and mending. You're also going to want to set yourself up a double beacon so that you can have strength 2, resistance, and regeneration. And to start this, we are just going to go fly and get our bad omen. And once you've got bad omen, I got bad omen 3. All we do now is fly nice and low so that way we can land on our platform. And once we're there, our raid should start. And we're just going to wait until this gets to about 40%. And then we're just going to swipe once. The raid bar is going to disappear, and we're just listening for the raid horn. And there it is. Once you hear the raid horn, now it is official. You can just start swiping at 30 game ticks using either carpet mod or tweakaroo. It doesn't really matter. But if you can't use cheats like in a hardcore world, tweakaroo is absolutely perfect. Okay, and after just a couple of minutes of swiping, you can see here we have a very steady flow of raids dropping in. But now, if for whatever reason your raid doesn't start, or it's just extremely slow, and possibly even just stops after a while, there's 2 things that you have to watch out for and check. First one is back here. You see how this observer is contracted or right beside this sticky piston right here? That is what you want your soul sand and your magma blocks to look like when that is on the inside. So if that looks the way it does, but your magma block is over here and your soul sand is under, just make sure you just swap them out. Just swap them out. And now, if you've done that and still your raids are extremely slow or they just don't spawn at all, build your way up to the killing chambers with the Ravagers. So right about here, and then add in 1 repeater, but don't even give it any delay or anything. Just place it down the way it is, so that way you give a little bit of a delay up here, and that should be enough in order to get your farms going. And other than that, you are good. Now, you can see this one here, like we've got mobs and everything all just chilling right here. Good thing about this design though, is when you fly away, all these lower guys here, they all just disappear. But the upper guys all remain, which I don't even know what's going on with that and how that works, but... And now, if you've built this thing and it is ripping and everything is working out for you, and you find that, you know, maybe you want to actually upgrade this, okay, jumping up to the top here, all we're going to do is we're just going to break in to this area here, and then we're going to take these sticky pistons, and we're actually going to bump them up 2 blocks right to where this redstone is. We want to make sure that we fill all of this in here too, so that way nothing can escape. And then above these sticky pistons where they are extended, we're just going to place 3 normal pistons like so, and then place 3 glass blocks in front of all of these sticky pistons. Fill the rest of this back in so that way it is just a normal chute. And now what we need to do is we just need to knock out these solid blocks here, replace them with glass. And then building our way up, we're going to place some solid blocks in between these pistons here and then cover them with some redstone dust. And by doing that, you are going to extend all 6 of these pistons here. So we're going to get the pistons and we're going to get the glass. Again, make sure that everything here is filled in so that you don't have any leakage. But now, with that set up right there, you can see I still have raid members up there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to restart the farm. And bingo, just like that, after 2 minutes, we're already off to a great start. And after 30 minutes, we are still maintaining the same rates, which is kind of actually crazy. Now, to maximize your rates on this farm, just make sure that you set your render distance to something low, like 10. And then always be looking down. Always look down. But other than that, there it is. There is your 60 to what looks like 100,000 items per hour raid farm. Make sure you pay attention to all the fixes that are possible. And just remember, if you have the 60,000 item per hour raid farm going, the one with the lower pushers, you want no mobs left in the midsection when you go to attack them. So to try to keep that in mind, there's another stacking raid farm for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. See you on the next one. Peace.